And we're back now in our Markets Unusual segment. We talk markets and avocados with Gary Alfonso. Gary, always a pleasure. Hello.
Good afternoon. So if I told you that I'm coming to your house tonight with Pinkerton, Ryan and Reed, what are you thinking?
I would think you're bringing me really fancy wine.
You'd think so, but actually those are three cultivars of the good old avocado.
Interesting.
So we're talking avos today and the economics of avos. And the interesting thing about avos, in South Africa we get a couple of cultivars, the likes of Fuerte, Pinkerton, Ryan, Reed. This is the Hass variety, and the Hass variety, I bought this from the local greengrocer yesterday, 16 in a box. Okay. This is the sort of size you get from ZZ2, the big fruit producer in South Africa, and this is a class 1, 14 to 16 size. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because the price that people are prepared to pay for avos at their local retail store has everything to do with perception and not with value or cultivar. In fact, some of these smoother cultivars do sell for a higher price, and they're more buttery, more sort of oily, and people love a different kind of taste in their different salads, or if it's fresh with fish, etc. So the price that people are prepared to pay for an avo is anything from 10 Rand per avo, or even less. In this case, I bought 16 in a box and it was 99 Rand, goes down to about 6, 7, 8 Rand per avo, but I have to wait. I have to wait 10 days, 2 weeks for the avos to ripen. So it has everything to do with proximity to market. It has everything to do with readiness. Is it ready to eat? And so at some of the more established high-end retail stores, you could pay up to 45 Rand per avo. And this is for the size 14 to 16, in this case Hass. You'd pay for that if you needed it for your big dinner party on Saturday night, because you need avo. Now, the avo story in South Africa is very interesting, and it's been increasing, and all financial institutions that do indices tell us that avo production in South Africa is on the up and up. We're not a massive avo producer. In fact, we're not even in the top 10 in the world. The top producing company or country in the world is Mexico, and they produce more than 100% more than the next player in the market. So the next country only gets to about 40% of what Mexico produces, which is Peru or Colombia. And they're all these tropical belt countries, so climate plays a big role in it. But when you see South Africa over the past, this is the past 13 years, we only produce about 154 or 155 tons of avos. And of this, only about 52% is exported. So we export more than 50% of our avos, and this export market is increasing. Why? Because the size of the avos that have been produced in countries like Peru, which is one of the other major exporting countries to China and Japan, the sizes of the avos have reduced significantly. They're now down to size 8. This, as I said, is size 14 to 16. So the smaller avos are becoming more prolific, and consumers are withdrawing and saying, we don't want smaller avos. And you've seen when you go to Woolies and you see small avos, you go, oh, no, where are the bigger, right? So it has everything to do with perception of value and taste of the product and the source of the market. So in South Africa, we've started planting. South African avo industry, the South African Avocado Growers Association, based primarily in only a few production parts in South Africa. We'll get the map up and running for you now to see where we produce avos. Now, that avo production currently in South Africa is being driven by around about 20,000 hectares of avo plantations. Only about 800 new hectares come online every year in major production areas, which I'll show you now, primarily in Mpumalanga. And you'll see our major production areas are Hazyview and Mpumalanga, or Mbombela and Barberton, and also in Limpopo province. We spoke about ZZ2 and the way they produce avos. And then some areas in KwaZulu-Natal and some areas in Western Cape and Eastern Cape that are avo producing. But only about 800 new hectares come online every year, and it takes a plantation about 8 years to be fully productive. Okay. So, but what has happened is with the changing, Americans love their guacamole and they love their sushi, and so does Japan, and so does China. So they love avo in their food. And the avo export market is growing exponentially. And financial institutions have noted that avo exports is a growth area in South Africa over the next 4 to 5 years. Because we spoke about the El Nino effect on citrus and also on chocolate earlier on. It's the same with avos. The El Nino droughts in the tropical belts in the South Americas and have affected avo production. And so South African avo production again stands a good chance if we can get a couple of things right. Again, logistics at our ports. Number one, getting them to market is very important. And export markets, because of our relationship with BRICS, China, very, very, very big importer now, has become a big importer, and they're looking for product outside of Peru, which are exporting the smaller avos, and are looking at South Africa very favorably as part of the BRICS formation. And then also beneficiation of avo products. First ever avo oil production plant opened up in Mpumalanga in South Africa just in the past 3 months. It'll be fully production by the end of June, July this year, and we'll be producing avocado oil for the first time on an industrial scale in South Africa. That's where the true value lies. So big uptick, and get your avos ready.
Love it so much for my guacamole this weekend. So much, Gary. Always a pleasure having you. That was Gary Alfonso on Markets Unusual.